This is the World Organic News, the week ending 12th of November 2018. John Moore reporting. Decarbonise the air and recarbonise the soil. This week we're on the move again, couch surfing, in beds obviously, between sisters-in-law. So we're going to talk about the planning for the new block, and it's proceeding apace. Mrs. World Organic News and I are focusing on garlic production for the first few years. We're doing this because garlic in Australia is mostly supplied from China. This is a little problematic for a few reasons. There are rumours this Chinese garlic is doused in bleach to clean it up for local consumption. And this may or may not be the case, but there's the rumour out there. And the bigger issue is the length of the supply chain. China is not just down the road, nor is it even supplying garlic in a manner where the end consumer can know the farmer who grew their garlic. Now, being a smallholder, we need to build relationships with our customers. This and the long growing season for garlic will allow us to write quite extensively on the process of planting, growing, harvesting and preparing for sale. I'm planning lots of pics to come and a dedicated website obviously, and maybe even a YouTube channel, and a horror of horrors, another podcast, but who knows, we'll see how we go with that. But it'll probably happen because podcasting is addictive. I'm still working on a title and so on, but we'll keep you up to date with this when it happens. We look like we'll be on the property in early December, and this gives us 3 months to prepare the 1,000 square metres or a quarter of an acre in the old money for garlic that we're going to do to start with. We'll be building no-dig gardens, obviously, so I'll document that process in pics and vids to give people space for suggestions, criticisms, and hopefully applause. Lol. In conjunction with this, we'll be setting up manure collection systems. There is a slight slope from west to east on the land, and this means livestock housing, etc. will be placed on the western boundary, and gravity will slowly move the animal wastes through vermiculture beds and eventually to the garlic and other garden beds. Having had to wheelbarrow goat bedding uphill in the past, I'm keen to use gravity this time for energy efficiency and spine care reasons. To that end, I'm drawn towards potty calves as a manure source. Hand-rearing calves is a wonderful thing to do anyway and provides over time growing amounts of manure as the animals grow. My first mentor in print was John Seymour from The Complete Organic Gardener, a complete book of self-sufficiency, and he was an advocate of Jersey beef. Now this breed does not dress out anything like a beef breed, but the meat is still beef. The other advantage of Jersey beef is that it's available at almost giveaway prices for Jersey bulls that are about week-old calves. Once marked, they are quiet and easy to handle, so we're thinking 2 or 3 Jersey bull calves and 2 Jersey heifer calves. The latter are a good bit more expensive, so swings and roundabouts. Above all, these calves are for manure production in the first place, and then meat and maybe eventually milk. The milk, though, is a very long-term prospect, a couple of years. Given the land size restriction, 2 dairy cows will be a bit of a stretch. We will have to either grow our own pastures or buy them in. Let me just explain that a bit. Buying in means buying silage and hay and whatnot. This leaves us exposed to price variations in these markets, and in times of drought, the price of hay and silage skyrockets. And in Australia, there's always a drought around the corner, even in good rainfall areas. So growing our own pastures is not so much a matter of growing them on the land, which we will be doing anyway, but of sprouting grains. This process I first observed on a segment of Landline or some such program 20-30 years ago, where the farmer was growing barley sprouts in a 7-day cycle in a greenhouse with water recycling and so on drought-affected land in South Australia, and the cows looked as fat as butter. There are many people doing this now, and you can get a quick YouTube search will reveal many. Barley is the grain of choice for this process, and we will be doing a Fukuoka trials on a small space to begin with barley and maybe oats or millet. On the other hand, with a little storage, we can in fact purchase barley at the bottom of the price cycle and be well set for up to 5 to 7 years of feed, milk and most importantly manure production. There'll be more on this barley sprouts idea as I get it underway, and I've got pics and videos and whatnot, and we'll be talking about that in a podcast of some sort. The fruit trees are mostly apples and a pear tree. We'll need thinning, netting, we'll need fruit thinning, netting and so on when we get there. And the only and very sad looking lemon tree will need a heavy pruning, a lot of Epsom salts. And I'm prepared to make the not quite ultimate sacrifice and irrigate with the liquid form of human manure. The nitrogen boost alone will do this wee tree much good. Eventually we'll be adding quinces and crab apples, a bit different, but quince paste and crab apple jelly are one of life's truly great joys. There is already poultry housing in place, so we'll be keeping our eyes out for some chooks and maybe some khaki Campbell ducks. Tasmania has the great advantage of being fox-free, which is great for poultry. The native Tasmanian devil, which filled the same sort of niche as a fox, has suffered severe population loss over the past couple of decades with a contagious facial tumour disease. While this is unpleasant for the devils and the ecology of the island, the upside is a huge reduction in poultry predation. On an up note, the devils appear to be, at least in small populations, exhibiting immunological resistance to the disease, and they may be on their way back. As an insurance policy, a clean, in inverted commas, population has been relocated to the mainland and is surviving well. And of course we'll have a kitchen garden, a herb spiral and so on. More on those as we build them. So those are the plans at present, all subject to change as new information and data come to us. The framework seems doable as I look at it, and I've been running it backwards and forwards in my mind a fair bit, so I think we're okay to go. Now we just have to wait on the machinations of the legal land acquisition process. Before Christmas is a definite, early December looks promising. And on that happy note, I'll draw this episode to a conclusion. Decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil. Now, as a podcast listener, you may be thinking of producing your own podcast, but you're not sure just where to begin. So drop over to mrjohnmoore.com and pick up the free checklists I've written there to help get you started. You can also check out the YouTube channel Pod Thoughts for more useful information. There's a link in the show notes for that, and details over at the website mrjohnmoore.com. A transcript of this episode is available at worldorganicnews.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next week.